Thank you, Minister, for the report. I think the environment is a source of survival for all Ugandans, and it's incumbent upon us to take care of it as leaders. But unfortunately, when it comes to the application of the law, it's very selective. And that is why you find some people being chased out of the wetlands, and then on the other hand, you see industries cropping up in the wetlands. But the other problematic issue I've seen in the report is on the data. Specifically, it addresses issues that happened in 2017 and 2016. I don't think the current data or what we have it's coherent with this nature of report. If we are to do a current search, a mini research of what's happening, especially with our forests, you will find out that maybe it has not reduced by 24%, as you've mentioned. It could be more. We could be having a very big issue. And on the other, on another note, I'm not sure what kind of science is actually used to determine the water levels. Because you mentioned about water decline, and then on the other hand, we have reports where we have increase in the water levels. I think currently it's at 13 meters by June this year. So we need a comprehensive report on these issues so that we can shed a better image for our country. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Oyam District.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for coming with this statement. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of environment and natural resources is very critical for our survival and our future. Our great-grandparents left for us a very beautiful and good environment. That's why our country is termed as the Pearl of Africa. But what are we leaving for our children and for our great-grandchildren? That is the key question that all of us must answer. Honorable Minister, I've read through your statement, but there are about 2-3 things that it has not really been very clear to me. One of them is the issue of population. Population, to me, is a driving factor as far as degradation of environment and natural resources is concerned. And it must be marked very clearly and seriously if we are to handle the issue of environment. Allow me to go to page 4 in your submission. When you look at page 4, you talked about environment and natural resources in Uganda, current status. And in your submission, you made mention of a decline of wetlands from 15.6% to 8.4% in 2017. And also forest cover reduced from 24 to 9% in 2017. Madam Minister, when you look at this, there is a very serious relationship between degradation and population increase. And yes, you made mention of population increase, but when you look on page 5, when you talked about the causes of this decline, industrialization, it has a relation with population. Unplanned urbanization, we get population. Deforestation, people are cutting trees because they need fuel and settlement. When you talk about agriculture, here we have the majority of women in agriculture. It brings me to this point, Madam Minister, that if we don't look at population, any problem that we are facing as a country, leave alone environment, and we don't tackle population, then we have not yet done enough. Because all the pressures that we are getting is coming from population. And I want to add that the women specifically is very key in this. They are the majority in agriculture. They are looking for fuel and by cutting trees. And they have not been sensitized, Madam Minister. In your submission, I have not seen a serious program for sensitizing Ugandans. Me and you here, we have heard and we have talked about this very many times. We are yet to receive.
Workers, Honorable Margaret, then Jonam, then I come to Honorable Fredo Polot.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And through you, I would like to thank the Minister for her presentation. I have two issues of concern. I've been told many times by the people from forestry authorities that it's not advisable for us to plant eucalyptus trees because they dry up the soil, and even the water can disappear completely from the swamps. But when you move on Mitiana Road, for example, you find almost all the forests there are of eucalyptus. When you go to Kampala Guru Road around Nakasongola and before, you find a lot of these forests. And if what I'm saying is true, because it has been advice from the forestry authority members or people, then what is your take on that? And why don't you advise, or not you alone, but the ministry, why don't they advise people and discourage them from growing those trees and instead go on another kind of tree, like cypress? The other one is the burning of charcoal. I think all of us agree that wherever you move, you find so many vehicles, trucks, carrying charcoal. And I would want to know what strategy are you having, because if we are to prevent people from burning charcoal, which people use, I don't want to say even some of us here, but allow me, what is the alternative? For example, in Kampala, what can people do? Because we know that there are some, I know that there are some cigarettes that have been made which are eco-friendly, but we are not popularizing them. What is it that can be done to make sure that we change the attitude of the people to know that they have alternative fuel in order to move on? Right Honourable Speaker, I thank you so much. I submit.
Janam.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Emmanuel Ongierto Obonyo Jor, the MP for Jonam. Right Honourable Speaker, I also want to thank the Minister for providing us with a comprehensive report about the environment situation in the country and what they plan to do. Right Honourable Speaker, in the entire report, I thought I would find where the ministry is trying to link with other ministries. Because when I hear from my colleagues, they are trying to call for alternatives for some people that probably you want to evict. But when you want to provide those alternatives, I don't see how you are going to do that without linking to other ministries. So I would have loved to hear from your report how you are going to link up with the Ministry of Energy to ensure that as people are picked out of the use of firewood and charcoal, maybe the Ministry of Energy is doing something. And when you are picking people out of the wetlands where they are growing rice, there is an alternative with the Ministry of Agriculture to ensure that people's livelihoods continue. But when I don't see that interlinkage, then I get afraid that your recommendations may more become like some high-sounding very little, because those alternatives are very important for our people. And we also know, Right Honourable Speaker, that in our country, we have come up with a lot of good suggestions on so many things, but they fail because we fail to implement. And why do we fail to implement? We fail to implement because we have not provided people with alternatives. And yet, we also think we want those people to live. So please, Madam Minister, I want to see the linkage between the different ministries so that I can be comfortable that other people are going to continue with their livelihoods in a fairly normal way. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honorable Polot. Ruchiga.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to say a word or two. My name is Fred Opolot, and I represent Pingire County, which is in Serere District. Right Honorable Speaker, I would really want to applaud the Minister for Environment for her very comprehensive and informative report. In particular, her encouragement to all of us to grow trees, and that is in relation to the deforestation that is happening in our country at the rate of 1.4%. That is extremely alarming. Right Honorable Speaker, I draw attention to the framework to domesticate international conventions on environment and the accompanying policy committee that has been set up by the ministry. In that context, I want to make a specific reference to carbon trading. That is big business internationally. Big international manufacturing companies emit a lot of carbon. What that means is that international conventions has restricted that. And therefore, these international companies are offsetting their carbon emissions by growing trees. Now, by extension, there are other environment or companies or organizations that are concerned with the environment. They will apply to the manufacturing companies to plant trees on their behalf, and they get paid. Right Honorable Speaker, they get paid. Africa and Uganda in particular is fertile ground for that. That's when we make reference to my sister here who said that in her constituency, there are other companies who come to Joseph for space to plant trees. That is the reason. Therefore, can the minister clarify or at least inform us if...
Ruchiga.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. On record, Kamsime Caroline, Woman MP, Ruchiga District. Allow me to thank the Minister for the statement. Yes, we really support securing our environment. But to my disappointment, this is not the first time representing such a statement or a report on floor of Parliament. I'll start with charcoal burning. Honorable Minister, I think we need to do more of implementation. At least, if we stop charcoal burning, what alternative do we have for our people? Like the Honorable sister of mine said, it's impossible. By the way, start with us. You can't cook on electricity. If we stop charcoal, what alternative do we have? Back to the wetlands. It's really unfortunate that whenever such a program begins, they always start with our local people. Back to Ruchiga. These are small wetlands where our local people are trying to put their food to feed their children. And when such a program starts, Right Honorable Speaker, they always start with local people, which is so bad. Take an example of Rukaya. I think acres and acres, a Chinese investor, Honorable Minister, why can't you start with such people? Why do we always oppress our local people who are trying to feed their families?
I kindly request you, Honorable Minister, if you can make a communication to our districts, our people are suffering. He talked of rice growing in Usoga. Kigezi is known by Irish growing. And everyone feeds on Irish, sincerely speaking. Our local people don't get much out of it. Right Honorable Minister, I request you, if you can make it official. For example, I have a sub-county in Ruchiga that is Kashambia. They entirely benefit on that small wetland. Let them stop harassing them. Start with these so-called investors. Then at least for our local people to benefit. I thank you for the opportunity, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Is that Gweri? Yes. Gweri County.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is Ekudo Tom Julius, Gweri County. We are here to look for dynamics of how to conserve the environment. I am one of those who has been growing rice in Iteso, and I know the value of rice. If I sell my 10 bags, I will even construct a house. So there is no other crop that outcompetes the rice. So I am asking the ministry that let us have an alternative crop that can make our people to get out of the swamps. In Iteso, Gweri is the leading sub-county in the rice growing. So my appeal is, after we have got the alternative crop, we shall empower the locals, and the locals will discuss those issues down there, and everybody will get out of the swamp. The other thing is, there is the issue of wetlands. Sometimes you find that in some regions, wetlands are used. Some regions like Teso, you are restricted to use the wetlands. So we need equity. When we say no more cultivation of rice, it must be countrywide. The other thing I want to say is that there are other people, individuals who have land, and they want to plant trees. Can government support these people? That is the information, and that is the discussion I have brought across the parliament. I submit.
Thank you. I'll have Bulamuli and Chigulu. Bulamuli. Isaac, Honorable, where are you?
It's on. Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and honorable members. Right Honorable Speaker, I also thank the Minister for the Environment for the submission. But I want to say that in Bulambula and Kapchora, we have issues whereby the industrialization, especially on cement industries, we have about 6 quarries: Hima Cement, Kampala Cement, Metro Cement, Toro Cement, and others. The rudimentary methods they are using for blastering stones has actually devastated the environment from the stretch of Elgon up to Bukedi. I'm requesting the Minister of Environment to check on those methods, because the environmental impact assessment which was carried out by the Minister by some officials from the ministry has not really assisted us. As I talk, people are suffering from different diseases, people's crops have been destroyed, a lot of animals are not producing because of the blast. I am telling you that those blasts have been interfering with the production of goats, chicken, and so on and so forth. When my people tried to talk to those people, to compensate them, they instead took them to court. So I want the Minister of Environment to intervene and help my people in Bulambuli and Kapchora so that we can be in a position to save the environment. And via issues of corporate social responsibility to the community, like planting of trees, because you know, the hills are holding a lot of water. As I talk now, most of the areas are flooded. There is no plan for planting trees and even encouraging people maybe to dig trenches and so on and so forth. We are overwhelmed. So I want to request that, Madam Speaker, the Minister of Environment maybe gives us at least some attention and sends a team so that my people can be in position to be assisted. I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Chugulu South.
Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I'm Milton Muuma Kalulu, MP Chugulu South Uganda. Right Honourable Speaker, I have to thank the Minister for their statement. Right Honourable Speaker, the day Honourable Beatrice Sanywa was appointed Minister of Environment, I'm one of those who was so excited and happy because they had appointed somebody who had a lot of interest, vigor, and passion for the environment. But Right Honourable Speaker, the interventions given in the statement were just giving hope. They were more of hope giving. There are no timelines given that Parliament can base on to do monitoring and oversight on how some of them are to be implemented. So I think we need to do much more than that. Right Honourable Speaker, last weekend I was in Kasese. Like a colleague who has just left the floor was talking of cement factories. The chimneys that on these factories are a public nuisance. Scientists argue Right Honourable Speaker.
No. We agreed on 3 minutes.
Speaker, I was still.
We agreed on 3. I'll have the honourable member for Agago, Kajara. Then I come
here. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. I'm Kazini Francis, a member of Parliament for Buhaguzi County in Ichikube District. I want to thank the Minister for the statement, but also to let the Minister know and the House that I come from Buhaguzi County, where there is a forest called the Bugoma Forest. And everyone of us here knows that part of that forest was given to an investor for sugarcane growing. But the remaining part, people are owning land titles in that forest. And on a daily basis, people are acquiring more land. And even the communities are entering the forest. Reason being that there is no clear boundaries to that forest. How can we protect the remaining forest in this country when we don't know the boundaries? May I therefore request, Honourable Minister and your Ministry, that unless we open boundaries to most of these forests in Uganda, particularly Bugoma, all the forests are going to be cleared, especially that one of Bugoma. I submit.
Thank you. I'd already picked Agago.
Thank you, the Right Honourable Speaker. The Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for the statements he gave. It is indeed the Constitution of Uganda, Article 245, gives us the mandate to promote environmental awareness. And besides also to put laws and bylaws that will govern to protect our environment. It is our roles and duties as leaders to support her. On that mandate, Madam Minister, I do support you with what you have told us. It is important, very, very important, that we cannot underestimate the importance of forests and our environment. But Madam Speaker, I'm sorry, the Right Honourable Speaker, there's no order there. The Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to implore the Madam Minister. There's a tree species called shea tree in our area. When you move in all the savanna grassland area, you find shea tree. The shea tree is being extinct. People are extincting it, people are destroying it. I would like to implore Madam Minister, the way she normally, when she come up and start advocating to protect the environment, to come so that we safeguard this tree. This tree species is being cut left and right because the way people praise it, it is so good for charcoal burning as well. Unless we protect this tree species. The Right Honorable Speaker, there is a point Minister raised here that she is going to recruit over 600 environmental protection units. I would like to propose to her instead to bring forestry environmental extension agents. Sometimes you see this poverty which is moving right here and there, people doesn't have alternative to look for as a source of revenue to them. But if you borrow from the leaf, other CSO used to do it. You do what is called either cash for what or food for what. Then this tree planting you are trying to bring forward is going to move. And then many people are going to support, many people are going to protect our environment. I know it is of importance if maybe you take it up. Finally, the actually joint council meeting took place as we were sending off the late Lieutenant General Paul Lokech. They came out with a resolution. One of the is to establish a woodlot in all.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I take this chance to thank the Minister for a statement which was somehow having some honesty. Madam Speaker, when you brought out the percentage, Madam Minister, when you brought out the percentage of the wetlands we are losing every year, and the forestry cover we are losing every year, I was so happy that the truth was being revealed. Nonetheless, Madam Minister, I still wonder whether you are the same person we got excited about when you took up that ministry. Because at the moment, the way things are moving, we should be seeing a change, a positive one, but we are seeing a negative one. Particularly, I expected you to talk about Lake Victoria. The way the people are mining sand from the lake. Because on the 13th this month, I saw you on TV, NBS ran a story about how Lake Victoria is being degraded by the sand miners. And you are not happy with them because you made a statement that those people have got regulations to follow, but they have adamantly refused to follow the regulations. So, Madam Minister, we expect something about Lake Victoria and the habitat of our fish for that matter. We are expected as members of Parliament, according to your report, to support you politically in finding a way of protecting our environment. But Madam Minister, you are not among those people who are doing a very good job. And not only you, the entire cabinet, by the way. The political will, yes, that is the truth. There is no political will in protecting the environment of Uganda at the moment. Otherwise, we wouldn't be seeing the Chinese in Ruera taking over the entire area. Secondly, of course, you know that some time back, my brother, let me finish, this is very important. Right, Honorable Minister, we suffered a lot when the road was damaged the other time, a few months ago. And there is sand mining And that is the problem. That is why we are getting that problem. The lake is getting the same problem, and we are not.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, please don't put on record what is not on record. If there's a comment outside and you answer it on record, you are the one who will sound interesting. So if somebody has raised a matter off record, not on the microphone, it doesn't get on the record. But when you respond to it, your response is the one that goes to record. For example, the response of the honorable member, my brother, let me finish. Finish what? Because there was nothing saying on the record to stop him. So in the middle of his statement, he's saying, let me finish. Are we going to manage? Okay, let me have UPDF. UPDF. Oh, there are two. One is not in uniform now, the one in uniform. General Masiko.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I am Major General Henry Masiko, UPDF, and this is my maiden contribution, so I congratulate you on assuming that big office. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to applaud the Minister's presentation, which is a very, very touchy matter, and I want to make a contribution from the security perspective of this question. Environmental questions are a matter of life and death. They are issues of human survival. And when we are making a contribution and guiding the country, I wish that touch to be emphasized. When I listened to the Honorable Minister, he talked of the stakeholders, the task force, and so on. My view would be that the ministry should endeavor to make ministry or the sector of security part of their strategizing, because what they are dealing with is a security matter. It is a threat to humanity, because security means being safe from danger. So when you have environmental problems, you are facing insecurity. Next question is her proposition on the consequences if we don't make any serious move. My view is that if we don't seriously take issues of environment seriously, nature will fight back and we shall have no recourse. Already we are seeing mountains are displacing us, water is displacing us, so the consequence is not negotiable. The consequence is that nature will fight back and fight back decisively. Lastly, on the issues of the status, I want Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members to bring to your attention one big danger on the status of environment today, the degradation of our heights. The heights are the natural water towers where God puts water for us. All rivers come from the heights. When you degrade the heights, because God made the heights and put covers on them, when we don't pay attention to recovering and dominating the heights in our country, we are facing a bigger danger, because the rivers are going to dry up. It will affect the electric generation. This matter nearly happened in Kenya, and they had to go back to the drawing board and recovered the heights. So among on the status...
Your time is up, sir. Honorable members, the 1 hour allocated for this debate has ended. And yet I still have the shadow minister and the gentlemen and ladies from this side and the minister to respond, so there'll be some time. But honorable members, I'll use my prerogative to do the following. I have seen the minister in charge of trade here. You see the minister of trade here. I've also seen the minister in charge of works here, and they both have statements in the next 3 items. And then the item 4 will be laying of papers, which does not take time. Given the number of members who would like to speak and the significance of this particular matter which is on debate, I'll use my prerogative to extend some time. But the time I'm going to extend, I'll extend the general time, the global time, but I'll limit the individual contribution time so that we can, as many members as possible can express their opinions on this matter. Is that fair? So I'm going to extend by another 40 minutes so that we lose the last 20 for conclusion. So can we reduce the time to 2 minutes, ladies, honorable members? Ladies and gentlemen, yes. We are now going to 2 minutes. And to start from the 2 minutes, I'll have Youth National.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for the statement, but allow me express my dissatisfaction with the presentation of a 24-page document without clear mention of the youth anywhere. Right Honorable Speaker, in a country whose population is largely young, how do we plan for sustainability without involving the young people? It is the young people that are best suited with the energy, the resilience, and the willingness to conserve the environment. So, Right Honorable Speaker, as we look forward to giving the Minister the political support that she requested for, I want to request her, particularly, to specifically indicate the role that the young people have in playing centrally and contributing to the protection of the environment in this country. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I have Rakai District, then the honorable member there, and the honorable lady there, and then I come this side.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to first of all, my name is Juliet Suvich Nyamatama, the Woman Member of Parliament for Rakai. I want to appreciate the Minister for this report, but also have a lot of queries. And my biggest concern is about mindset change. Like one of my colleagues has said, people in Rakai think that forests, swamps are the best places for them to be. Why? Because the mindset has changed over time, mostly when there was an attempt, an attack on Mabira Forest. People from that time, they got to know that since it was from government itself, forests are not important. So when you write such a report, people are going to be resistant everywhere you go, unless you first change their mind towards conserving environment. Honorable Minister, I see a alarming eviction of people when we talk about restoring forests, when we talk about boundary opening, and it is not clear here. As a member of parliament, before we think about evicting people and reopening boundaries, we need to first look at the alternative means. As government and the minister, we need to focus on reasons as to why there is an encroachment on wetlands, on forest reserves. Number one is population growth, which is not being answered in this statement. So meaning that we are just going to be reactional to what is happening than solving the cause of the encroachment. You're talking about bamboo plantation.
Thank you, honorable member. Can I now have Kagweri? Is Kagweri here? Kagweri? Yes, Kagweri. I'll have Chiboga. I'll have Kayunga. Jumani. I finish my page 1, then I go to my new page. Can we start?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to say something. I'm by the name Mugole Stephen, Member of Parliament Kabweri in Kibuku District. from Wicked region. I would just like to, first of all, thank the minister for the statement, an enormous statement, but I did not hear one thing. While during the campaigns, the president in Wicked region, when all the entire leadership had sat, he promised and pledged to Wicked, because our land holding per household in acreage is 1.5 acres per household. And he said people should not be evicted from the wetlands until there is an alternative. I have not seen a particular alternative for Wicked region in particular, which has the lowest land holding per acre in the country, on top of being very poor, and yet we sit on a table of wetland. These people cannot go anywhere apart from harnessing resources from the wetlands that in which they stay. Information? I would like, as I give information, because time is going, to re-emphasize that among the livelihood issues that you had proposed, for Wicked, for people to get out of the wetlands, there must be an alternative. Otherwise, there will be a problem with the people. Taken.
This is Chinovere, MP Chibuku. I am giving information to my colleague because you are from the same district. Honorable Speaker, if you look at Wicked, as my colleague has said, we are pure in the wetland, the whole of Wicked. So which means there is a possibility that all of Wicked is going to be relocated to maybe the whole of Wicked. We can be moved to either Karamoja or Katakwi. Because we are in wetland, the whole of Wicked is sub-region. So in the last parliament, I was one of the members who pushed the issue to have the wetlands well demarcated. I wrote letters, I can even let some copies on table. I wrote several letters to have wetlands demarcated, but the ministers never acted. The only option they had, when the rice is almost ready for harvest, they send them to come and slash. That's the only benefit that people of Wicked could get. Honorable Speaker, on many occasions, you witnessed me struggling on this floor to have wetlands demarcated. They get where water is getting stuck, they call it wetland. They send the police, they arrest our people. My prayer, the
information is given and the prayer.
Honorable, please.
Yeah, the prayer.
You had 2 minutes. The person giving information took another 2 minutes. I will skip Chiboga because she's the shadow minister. We'll have our own time. Kayunga, Ajumani, Butambala, Dokolo, Kiriandongo, Tororo. Let us start like that. I'll start with the Kayunga district.
I thank you, Right Honorable, for this opportunity to debate on the matter on the floor. Right Honorable, you had suggested that this won't be time enough for us to discuss this matter exhaustively.
Would you like to use your...
Right Honorable, I will...
Okay, then you are ruled out of order because you are not dressed properly in terms of masks. Can we now go to Jumani? Jumani.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Honorable Minister for this comprehensive report. But I am hurt and unhappy about our situation where we are watching the beauty of our country disappearing when other countries are envying us. People pay to come to our country to see what we have, and we are watching it to disappear, and yet we are a very poor country. Therefore, my proposal is, let's be firm to protect what we have. We have to go through this pain
I am sure that we have our department that does environmental assessment. Our minister, with all the cries that people are putting, because people have to survive, can we do assessment and we look at what people need and what alternatives we can provide so that we take actions that can be respected. Two, I propose that Honourable Minister come with a list of those who are defying our policies and the laws. There is a lot being said that there are individuals who are encroaching the forests and the wetlands, but they are not touched. Isn't the government aware about these individuals? Who are they? We need to know them. If we are not going to have the list here, we are going to move in cycles because they are watching us. They know that we talk, but we don't buy. So can we have that list?
Thank you. Honorable Member for Butambala.
Right Honorable Speaker, I thank the Minister for the statement. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, I happen to come from an area that has got a large forest range, and I will be very clear here. The enemy is with us. They are the officials of the Minister of Environment. If we did not have National Forest Authority, we would have forest cover. In my district, I'm battling NFA because NFA is at the forefront of finishing forest cover in my district. They are using protection given by defense and security to protect large tree plant. Are they growers now? Tree growers, they enjoy the protection of the army. So the general who invites security into forest cover, you are only inviting more destruction of forests. And if we are to be honest, Right Honorable Speaker, let us assure the minister here, Tusker, bring here a list of people you have licensed to do forest growing in this country. You will be amazed of who is who. In Butambala and I know. I've looked at that list in Butambala and Gomba. It's the powerful of this country. It's the elite that know the dangers of the environment, that are at the forefront of destroying the environment. So let us stop the pretense. We either in my district, Honorable Speaker, we have literally as the local government decided to do away with NFA. Because NFA is at the forefront.
Thank you, thank you. Member for Dokolo District. Member for Dokolo District.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I also want to appreciate the presentation made by the Minister. I would have preferred if it was a document presented to a foreign agency. But when we are dealing with indigenous issues, Right Honorable Speaker, I have received the report with a heavy heart. I would have expected the minister to come to us and demonstrate the commitment of government to make a positive change. Parliament passed a law to ban the use of polythene and polypropylene materials. I would have wanted the minister to give us an update. How far have we gone after 15 years of passing that law? I would have wanted to know. Every year, apart from the COVID of the last 1 year, Uganda is reputed for being one of very active delegation on the issue of climate change in the COP conferences. So Uganda is a very critical delegate in driving the policies. I'm surprised up to now, Right Honorable Speaker, we have not had a statement made on the floor of Parliament.
giving us an update of how we are moving as a world, what has the world done, what are we doing, what are the programs, and how much has been given to us to green our environment. Nothing so far. So, Right Honorable Speaker, it is important that we come up and request that the minister every year must give.
Thank you very much. Can I now have the following, please? I'll have Kalangala District, Nakaseke, Bukoto East, and then I come this side. Yes, please proceed.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Nachimuli Helen Kalangala. I thank the Minister for her presentation or report, but on page 7, she talked about an activity of plantations of timber. I haven't seen this activity in Kalangala. I wonder whether Kalangala is in Uganda. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, this government has not given importance, or it has given less importance to the trees that make sense to us. For example, Right Honorable Speaker, all the island districts do what we call fishing, and one of the materials used in fishing is a boat. The timber we use to construct boats, Right Honorable Speaker, we get from Congo. Uganda does not have this timber. I don't know the scientific name, but in my language it is called omukebu. Yes, we don't have it. We import it from Congo. Why do you give us mango trees to plant, yet we can also get such trees which can help our people? If we don't import them from Congo and have them here, our people locally shall get some money and our boats shall be permanent. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Are they already picked? Are they already picked Nakaseke? Bukoto East? Nakaseke is not here. Okay.
It's available. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Alan Mayanja Sebonya, representing Nakaseke Central. Right Honorable Speaker, the presentation or the report or the statement made by the Madam Minister, it's like a barking dog without the teeth. Because the way I can see the available laws governing environment, governing forests, they are available, but they are not implemented. Government officials are busy practicing deforestation for charcoal and timber, but they are untouchables. The laws are available. So we request Honorable Minister to try to look for those untouchables. Secondly, we have divided the mandate between NEMA, NFA, local government. I think we should change this. The management of forestry reserve should be centralized. And lastly, when you see private, 60% of the forests are private. They're owned by individuals. And this is not bad, it's good because it encourages commercial tree planting. But in the future, because when you plant these trees, in the future we shall cut them. Where are we heading to? So we need to change.
Thank you very much. Bukoto East.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. For the record, I'm Kanyike Ronald Evans, Member of Parliament for Bukoto East. I thank the Minister for the statement well presented. Right Honorable Speaker, the challenges facing the environment degradation in Uganda is mainly the so-called investors. We have witnessed in many areas of this country, especially the wetlands. Wetlands have been degraded mainly by the investors, the so-called investors. On page 8, you will stated that there was a cabinet directive to cancel all the land titles in the wetlands. But we have seen very many titles since 2014 being issued in the wetlands, mainly by the so-called untouchables of this country. In the constituency I represent, we have got many, and have come up on several occasions condemning those so-called untouchables in Bukoto East. So, Honorable Minister, it is my humble appeal, you come out with serious
Bukoto Central.
Had I already picked anybody? No. I'll take the honorable member. After the honorable member, I will have the Honorable Katashumba, Honorable Seku, member for Tororo County.
Honorable Speaker. My name is Awede Victorious, a woman member of Parliament in Nakasongola District. I want to appreciate the Honorable Minister for her report, but again, I want to give her information according to my assessment in my district, majorly. The locals are not destructing the environment, but mostly the environment is destructed by these so-called investors. A case in point is Rubenge Swamp. We share Rubenge Swamp with the Ruweru, but we got some investors who are the Chinese. They have really degraded that swamp, causing the floodings. People have been displaced. Even the gardens have been spoiled within the area because of the floods. As noted by the minister, NEMA gave us a plant, that is a sewage plant, of 4.6 billion. But for your information, Right Honorable Speaker, if we don't protect Rubenge, we might not use this plant for sustainable development because the swamp is almost drained. The water is almost drained up, and we cannot contain water, yet the other sewage operation plant needs water to filter all the waste. Right Honorable Minister, please, may we implement the policies. We have some good policies in Uganda which can protect the environment. Talk about the environmental impact, the environment regulation policy of 2020. Why don't we use it? Right Honorable Speaker, we have the wetland resolution of 2020. Why don't we borrow ideas from those policies and we see that we can safeguard our environment, that we can retain Uganda being the pearl of Africa, and we are really enjoying the environment as also plan for our future generation for sustainable.
Thank you very much. Can I have the Honorable Katashumba? Yes, left.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Katashumba? Yes, left. Okay. Honorable Seku?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Madam Minister, I want to thank you for the report. In as far as matters of environment and natural resources is concerned, looking at the report of the status of environment of 2007, you realize that there are three specific factors that are drivers of challenge to the environment. And this includes overgrazing, it includes deforestation, and also primitive agricultural production methods. And that's what I want to address to you and members of this House. Mr. Speaker, we have had challenges with our agriculture, and all the time we're talking about funding agriculture to improve on production. And being a driver to, or rather challenge to the environment, we should now be discussing about sustainable use of all our land resource and agricultural production. I will not differ from my colleagues from the Bukit sub-region, because that region is entirely wetland. But now we talk about displacing people from those areas. It means you will have killed their livelihoods totally. So to me, Mr. Speaker, and the Prime Minister, you are here, we should emphasize the issue of sustainable use of land, especially in the Bukit sub-region where I am the chairperson. Mr. Speaker, we have had programs addressing agricultural matters, plan for modernization of agriculture.
Kiriandongo, Tororo County, Ruhama, is that Ruhama? Mbale District. Mbale District. Honorable Katashumba, the bus has left the station already. Then I come back this side.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister for the statement. Honorable Speaker and members, to me, government is doing very little in as far as conserving the environment is concerned. Mr. Speaker and members, on forest cover, government has gone ahead to continue leasing forest reserves to private investors, specifically for sugarcane growing. In my district, Kiriandongo, so far we have lost 2 forest reserves, namely Nyamakere and Kibeka. The NFA gave clearance to Kiriandongo Sugars, a company growing sugarcane, dealing in sugarcane. As I talk now, they have well cleared the one's forest reserves and now covered with sugarcane. And the government is aware, I think the minister is also aware, therefore government is doing very little to conserve the forest. Mr. Speaker and members, we have been reading in papers and also watching on TV the untouchable illegal timber dealers in the country who go unpunished, who are sometimes escorted by guns, and they go as far as encroaching on the strict nature reserves of the forests, of the traditional forests. The minister watches this news, they are aware, but they are simply untouchable. Right Honorable Speaker and members, in 2003, Parliament passed the National Forestry and Tree Planting Act of 2003, which established the tree planting fund. Mr. Speaker and members, this has never been operationalized. Therefore,
thank you. Tororo?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Allow me also to thank the Honorable Minister for the statement. Honorable Minister, I will be looking for action points that you will raise. Number 1, I am happy to note that you've told us about the monitoring gadgets that the ministry has acquired. We would be very grateful to know whether now you are able to capture those who are lumbering in the Budongo forest and be able to go for them immediately. Number 2, Honorable Minister, you've had the cries on energy, especially for cooking, which is charcoal. I would have also expected you, Honorable Minister, whereas we cannot migrate at once to clean energy, but you should have also told us the plans that the ministry has to fast track fast maturing trees for energy support to our communities. Madam Minister, in the short run, you are going to start realizing more problems arising from forestry. Many times now, when you visit timber dealers, the size of trees that are being cut for the timber that we are consuming in our market now is highly regrettable. People have resorted to cutting very small trees and raising a few pieces of timber, which really gives an impression that we are going for immature trees. So you also need to move very fast on that and see how we can arrest that situation. Madam Minister, you've heard the cries of our communities living along the lake shores and the river shores. We are now having water chasing them away. The water levels have continued.
Thank you very much. Okay, I'm coming this side now. I'll have Dr. Bwanika. Are they not finished this side? No, I'll keep alternating until we. Oh, I'd already picked the member for Ruama. Sorry.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. And for record purposes, my name is Kamukama Benjamin. I represent the people of Ruama East in Ntungamo District. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for giving us a very well elaborate report on the status of environment and natural forests. I have read her report very, very critically, and this is where she stated that the rate of degradation, if we are talking in terms of ratios, degradation to restoration is in the ratio of 33:1. And this is quite alarming. Right Honorable Speaker, currently we are losing 90,000 hectares of forest cover every year. And it is estimated that in the next 20 to 30 years, we shall not have a single forest reserve in this country. That's why I want to urge honorable colleagues, support the Minister on her request for clear funding so that we can protect our forest reserves. Right Honorable Speaker, the National Forest and Tree Planting Act 2003 established the National Forest Authority, but it also established district forest services. For a moment we thought that the problems of forest degradation are over, but the government failed to fund these agencies to do their work. A case in point, you go to a district that is supposed to manage 10 central forest reserves, but you find a district forest officer and an assistant managing 10 forest reserves. It is impossible.
Mbale District, Mbale.
Yes, thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. For record, I'm Mohai Miriam, the woman member of Parliament from Mbale District. Right Honorable Speaker, the Minister has just given us a statement and shown us how our natural resources are being tampered with. And she has shown the interventions that are to be done to rescue our motherland. Mine is on the issue of sensitization, especially in the community. Now that we know that our motherland is being destroyed, the forests are being encroached on, the wetlands are being encroached on, here and again people are constructing petrol stations on the wetlands. But down there in the community, people are continuing to use buveras, and they are destroying the soils that we use to plant our crops. If we can borrow from the Ministry of Health that has the village health teams that help Ministry of Health to know what is going on ground, I would implore the Minister to have people who can help to bring information on board for the ministry to know what is going on right there in the villages. And mine is just having maybe village environmental teams that can give first-hand information and we know what is going on, and also help to sensitize the people on a daily basis. Because if we do not do something immediately, our motherland will be destroyed, because today people are covering those buveras as they plant. So 10 years from now, the soils will be no more, and yet Uganda depends on agriculture to survive. So that is my...
Thank you very much. I'll have the Honorable Dr. Wanika. Then the honorable member in yes. And then I come to Luweero, Mukono, and Bukoto Central. Then I come back this side.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Minister. I have listened attentively. We dialogued in the past about the need to gazette the natural resources in this country. However, it is important as we move to gazette the different natural resources that we base it on science. You cannot grade the wetlands in Bujiri the same way with the Lukaya wetland that affects the lake directly. We need to base our gazetting and the grading on the science. Right Honorable Speaker, I also want to know from the Minister, I've seen here in Wakiso, Chairman Matia Rwangabwanika has become a solo person fighting against the Chinese who are degrading our lake. Why is it that the ministry is keeping quiet? They are degrading the entire lake, very important resource, and we don't hear the voice, we don't see you in action. They are taking away sand, they are taking away the breeding areas for the fish, and it is very dangerous. We want to see you in action. Lastly, about the Kavera. We know that there is a law against the use of the polythene bags. When are you bringing the amendment so that we can get the total ban? We don't want the exception of saying the 30 microns. We want the total ban. You know very well that this Kavera.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm Chiaga Hilary from Awokota North. Honorable Minister, I would love to know to what extent corporate companies that deal in plastic-related products have been engaged. Yes, we understand they pay taxes, but whatever their products are, what plans do they have? How can we engage them to see that they act with the government and see how we can dispose of these deadly products? Secondly, we need an alternative. If we are chasing people away from firewood, if we are chasing away people from charcoal, what is the alternative? The alternative will be electricity. The alternative will be solar energy, gas. But if we have these prices on electricity that are alarming, we cannot have an alternative. So your ministry needs to correspond with the Ministry of Energy to see how we can better this situation. I beg to submit.
Thank you. I'd already picked Luweero, Mukono, Bukoto Central.
Thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker. First of all, I want to thank the Minister for the report. It informed. And on page 18, she indicated the cost of restoring forest. That means that there's encroachment. That is a justification. Right Honorable Speaker, my father is a senior ecologist at Makerere, and the botany department depends on forests to train students. If we substitute natural forests with planted trees like pine, eucalyptus, we will be left with nothing. We will also affect the research, medical research. You know, most of the drugs or the nutrients within all the other components that help in developing of drugs, some of them are derived from plants. So, yeah, an example is Covidex. Of recent, I was interacting with a herbalist, and she indicated that actually most of the forests, natural forests, are that's where they get these, all the plants that they use in developing drugs. So we need to preserve the natural forest. I totally disagree. when you say we need to plant eucalyptus, that policy of handing over forests to individuals is actually bad, because they only focus on trees that are going to bring them money, not to preserve the natural varieties of trees and plants, and also herbs that we had in the original place. So, Madam Minister, I think we should allocate money or new lands for those who want to do individual forest.
Thank you. Mukono?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Nabukera Hanifa, Woman MP Mukono District. This is to you, Honorable Minister. My issue here is about Ministry of Lands vis-a-vis National Forest. Ministry of Lands issues titles to these investors who are in the forest reserves. So I have a forest called Namioya in Goma sub-county. It is divided. Actually, individuals are owning it, and yet it is a national forest. I have Namave Industrial Park. That swamp has leases, land titles that Chinese are owned by Chinese. And the factories there are under wetland and are seriously operating. So my concern is, why wouldn't you go to Ministry of Lands and see those titles that are issued to those investors? That is when you can get those people who are actually encroaching on the forest reserves. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bukoto Central?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Minister, for the statement delivered. First and foremost, I would like to re-echo my colleagues' views about the police and deforestation. In Bukoto Central, it seems most of those small forests were not gazetted. And due to that, the police is actually protecting the people that are cutting down the trees. You go to Dimo, you go to Malembo, you go everywhere, all those small forests are being cut down every day, and they pass by the police stations when they are taking this timber. Even when you make calls to the police stations, to the OCs, and you tell them to go down to the forest, they just go, look at them, confiscate their machines, and then give them back to them at 8 in the night, and in the morning they are doing the same thing again. My second issue is about the surface runoff. All of us here are paving our compounds. All of us. And people are continuing to, and the country is continuing to pave the surfaces. That means there is an increase in surface runoff. The surface runoff goes down to the swamps, and these swamps are being encroached on. People have decided to to dump soil in the swamps and then create trenches. These trenches bring a lot of water down the stream. Now you look at Wampewa Avenue just yesterday. It was flooding, yet the design was for 2020. They designed that drainage for 2020. Meaning that they had anticipated that in 20 years' time, or in 15 years' time, that road would be able to take up the water volumes. However, it can no longer take up.
Thank you very much. As we begin to prepare to close, because we have done almost 2 hours now, and I have the following. I'll have the honorable member here, member for Kaliro District, Tororo Municipality, Kasambia Ora, who is chairing the Climate Change Committee, and then I'll start with yes, honorable.
I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. For record purposes, I'm Engineer Cuthbert Abigaba Mirembe. I represent Shibale County in Kamwenge District. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the Minister for this statement, and I want to thank you for allowing us to extensively debate this statement. Right Honorable Speaker, when the minister was presenting the statement, of course, I had some perception that our natural resources are degrading, but her statement made me much more worried, especially when she said that we are losing forests at a rate of 33%, and we are losing wetlands at a rate of 70%. And given that I have a mathematics background, I have done some simulations, and I can foresee in 20 years from now, if we don't do something right now, then certainly we are going to remain without any forest, we are not going to remain with any wetland, and the consequences are really, may not be good for this country. The other worry is that the minister, one of her challenges is that she's not aware of the boundaries of these natural resources. So that one is a big concern, and I want to ask the minister that while we are willing to support you, but you must be willing to walk the talk. When we talk of protecting our environment, we request you to walk the talk. Right Honorable Speaker, not very far away from the minister's office in Kampala here, we have Rubiti Swamp. I normally pass around there. When you see the kind of activities which are happening, I do not know if they are not.
Thank you. Kaliro District.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. For the record, my name is Namukta Brenda, the woman representative, Kaliro District. Right Honorable Minister, thank you so much for the report, but to some extent it is unfair. My district has 15 sub-counties, and all the sub-counties have swamps. My district is surrounded by Lake Choga. And last year, I was in the district council of Kaliro, and they brought the demarcations. I am one of the victims as I speak now. They encroached on people's land. I don't know which criteria they use for demarcations, but they are encroaching on people's land. I personally, they encroached on our land, 2 acres of land from the swamp. Yet we have been cultivating on that land from the time I was born. Now, my question is to the Honourable Minister, which arrangements do you have for the whole population of Kaliro? Which arrangement do you have after being evicted? Are you going to evict the whole district? Right Honourable Minister, it is my humble prayer and request that the people who are supposed to sensitize our people, they should talk to our people the right way. But the time they come, when they come to make demarcations, they come with the army and they beat up people. It is really unfair, and in Kaliro, this is an issue.
Tororo Municipality.
Thank you.
Tororo Municipality.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I also want to thank the Minister for the statement. I come from Tororo, that is in Bukedi region. If you compare our borders, if you cross Kenya, immediately you cross Kenya, things have changed. You find it is green and so on. Why don't you borrow a leaf? When you go, when you are in Uganda, you just regret. So why don't we borrow a leaf? And we are the one now importing charcoal to Kenya. By the way, we're exporting charcoal to Kenya. We're exporting charcoal, which is very dangerous. So it is destroying our trees and so on. So why don't you meet us, East Africa, and discuss these policies and come out with what? I thought that's why the East African community is there. If you cannot discuss those issues, we are really bad law. Yeah. And if you want really to use the wetland, in Bukit, get alternatives. Come out with a package. What are those people going, those poor people, the small people, what are they going to do in order for them to leave the wetland? But you will not just come and say leave the wetland. They will never leave. Let us come with a practical solution, other than just coming out with talking. So let us come with a practical solution, and we shall get a solution. Thank you.
Honorable members, let us not make it sound as if it's only the responsibility of the minister. We are all responsible. So let's see how we can also assist in whatever way, because now it seems we are all saying, minister, do this, minister. It is our responsibility as well, as I go to Kasambia and then Ora.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My name is David Kabanda. I represent the people of Kasambia. Right Honorable Speaker, I entirely want to agree with the Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi that the enemy of our forest reserves is NFA. In my constituency, Right Honorable Speaker, I have a forest reserve called Champsi and Chanaski in Mubende municipality. But whenever rich people in Kampala want to have land, they will just walk into NFA offices, and these people will just come on ground and extend the boundaries of these forest reserves. What next? They will just hand over the forest reserves to these rich people. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to join the Honorable Sylvia Naebale, who requested the NFA that whenever you want to allocate these forest reserves, allocate them to our people. These are the people who keep your forest reserves. Why should you give these forest reserves to rich people who even don't stay in our areas? Your people, Madam Minister, I will not blame you for this, but your people in NFA get money from people, rich people in Kampala, and they end up selling our forest reserves. Yes,
Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable colleague. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. The information I want to give, Right Honorable Speaker, is that if we want to seriously examine the issue of environment, we must look at it in a macro-sectoral approach. Because if we are only talking about displacing people, then what is the alternative that we must create? Right Honorable Speaker, I want to emphasize on information that I want to give my honorable colleague about the issue of NFA, but this time also NEMA. If you are driving on Masaka Road and you see the extension of rice in that wetland, you really know there is no point in whatever report we are getting in terms of goodwill to maintain and keep our environment. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member, when you start giving information by using the word if, then it is no more longer information. That's a full debate. Ora?
Right Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister, I want to thank you for your statement, and it is this statement that has brought a good debate from the members, and I want to thank all the honorable members. Right Honorable Minister, the economy of Uganda is environment, natural resources, and climate change dependent. If we mess these three areas, we can collapse this economy. The energy is from the natural resources. And the energy sector which we are prioritizing is actually hydropower and solar, which is environment dependent. And without them, our economy cannot work. And we are talking about protecting the livelihoods of 68% who are actually smallholder farmers. They are surviving on these natural resources that is supporting their livelihood. And the cost of loss and damage caused by degradation of the environment and climate change is very serious to the economy. So, honorable members, I want to implore you that when it comes to budgeting and prioritizing some of these issues, step by step, we need to identify our priority sectors, attach budget to them, so that we can now look at the implementation. In the meantime, we have to build resilience of the population. And resilience means making the population able to withstand the impact of climate change, environmental degradation like floods. You have seen. There are natural ones like hailstones, storms.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, we draw this to a close. It's exactly 2 hours from the time we started. Since we have other business, I think it is only fair that we roll this up. I apologize for all those members who expressed interest to speak, but have not been able to be accommodated. That includes the Honorable Olanya Gilbert. So please, now you, because he remains standing, and I'm saying the time is up, so I'm going to have the Shadow Minister for the environment, and then I have the Minister. Honorable Minister, you'll take a very short time because I still have business. I've given you a lot of time. Yes, Shadow Minister, you have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for giving us the status of our environment and natural resources. Honorable Minister, in the introduction, we ought to have presented a hope that despite the fact that we have a lot of challenges, adaptation measures are also included, because people have always reported about the effects of climate change and what it has caused to them. And then the composition of environment and natural resources sector also needs to bring academia and research very near. When you look at the water sector and the technologies we are proposing for helping us with water harvesting, we need researchers to help us in order to avert the flooding challenge. And Honorable Minister, the document kept on referring to the climate change bill, yet it is now an act. Probably it is because we took long before the act came into force. So we need to now call upon all our efforts to sensitize the public about the availability of a legislative instrument such that our people know the content of the bill and where to begin from. I mean the act. Right Honorable Minister, clause 4.5 on the causes of environment and natural resources loss, we have a challenge of the diminishing. Very many people are going to the wetlands and encroaching on forest land because the available arable land is becoming infertile. The effect of climate change on soil fertility is always forgotten. But the farmers down there have already identified that it is a challenge, and in order to remain in production throughout the year, they are encroaching on the wetlands to help them out. On section 7.4, under the SPG, we used to call it SOLOG, actually it is SOLOG project, that was giving our people chance to establish tree cover on government land. We still have traces, we still have some people who after 3 years, after being granted that opportunity, have never planted anything. In Chiboga, we do have them near my home. Somebody who took that portion has never planted the trees for now 3 years, and the land is bare. And there are very many others. So we need to identify them, remove that opportunity from them, give it to the natives who are ready to plant the trees immediately. And then on 7.7, Minister came up with the resolution of cancellation of titles in wetlands. But this provided for the Wetlands Act that came into force in 1986. But there are some of our people who hold the titles before 1986, and they actually need compensation. The law only provided for those people who got titles after 1986. So we have two categories, and we need to be cognizant of this. Somebody who has kept the wetland for all those years, to just go like that is not easy. So we need to incorporate some money to compensate those older title holders. And then on 7.8, Honorable Minister, you came up with an issue of directing refugees on how to conserve the environment. But we expect Honorable Minister to come up with the carrying capacity of Uganda as far as refugees are concerned. We need to define our carrying capacity. We cannot all the time welcome refugees, because when we look at the people who have actually destroyed our environment heavily, refugees have a portion. And then 8.5 on waste management. This is a serious challenge to very many urban authorities. And there are upcoming wastes including pampers, wastes including pads, wastes including masks. I'm telling you, recycling these things is still a dream. We don't know what to do. And when you ask the urban authorities, they are also just leaving them like that. And it is an important thing. When we come to 11.1, on the issue of degazettement, the Honourable Minister has been provided with a number of applications for degazettement. But members, following our Forest and Tree Planting Act of 2003, we need to follow the steps. Before we degazette, the alternative must be shown to us. We should first approve the alternative. Like the other time when Gulu University came up with the 500 acres to reverse the 70 that they want to offset. We need to first approve the 500 before we approve the other one. There are even some other private people who are giving options on leasehold land. Lease land that is only remaining with 10 years, and after that we shall have no forests. So we have to first approve the alternative before degazettement. And they should move simultaneously, not the minister to any other person to come up with the requests. And now, when we go to section 11.1, part 16, the issue of early warning has been prioritized. It is very important because it directs our decisions as far as agricultural livelihoods are concerned. But members get this from me, the accuracy of the information is 70%. 30% of our early warning information.
What it means that the 5 minutes are up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. We shall liaise another time. Honourable Minister, we are ready to work with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Honourable Minister, you have 7 minutes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for such a generous time you have granted us to debate a very pertinent issue. And I thank you, colleagues, for raising all the concerns. And indeed, it's genuine, and I take it in good faith. I thank you for the spirit and the concern of conserving the motherland. I've had a lot of issues raised. The 7 minutes might not surface, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, but I will try to generally go over the few. But before I would be cut off, I just want to say this is the beginning of walking the talk, and I believe we shall walk it. I just want quickly to go to some responses which have been given here. I may not take one by one, but allow me just to read a few. I believe that colleagues who have raised also issues, I'm still available. We can also add outside this house. My office is open, my email, my WhatsApp is open. And some colleagues have already contacted me and are raising again the issue here, but it's really appreciated. Wamala and Kula Forest taken by these are colleagues. There are some of these undertakings that are before courts of law. We might see that nothing much is being done, but we are following the law. Whatever undertaking we are taking is following the law. And colleagues, with the challenge we have is that people go and run in courts of law, and we are curtailed to act beyond that. We have to let the law take its course. And some of these areas you are seeing no activities taking place from us, we are in court and we are battling court cases. What I had said much earlier yesterday, would want to have environmental codes that will help us quickly dispose of this undertaking. In most cases, they hide there. After 5 years, you find the whole forest is already gone. And yet, we should have really responded to. Charcoal is a big menace, and we are aware it is being allowed to go across. Others are given some license to do that. But with the charcoal, alternatives have also been sought. And indeed, I want to confirm for other colleagues who also said we must liaison with others. We are working with all the ministries, as I had earlier indicated in the report if you looked at. The Ministry of Energy is supposed to be one of those. As you know, we are going to have gas production in this country. We expect it to be cheaper for the urban settings. We are undertaking this as an alternative so that gradually we can graduate out of it. We are saying we are going to plant some fast-growing trees like the bamboos. Those ones are also to help us quickly answer to the demand therein. The mining, as it was raised by my son, who will remain a son, as a honorable minister, honorable colleague. Yes, we are also aware of what is taking place, mining the forest, and it has been raised at different fora. The Minister of Minerals is also handling that, and we can still link up and finish and see that something is being done. As we are guided by the Speaker, we are not only to talk, but we can also engage colleagues and have solutions outside the House. There is also the issue which was raised for Gomba, and I want to let you know that it is not yet being degazetted. The community have given about 10 acres each. We are given 10 hectares to plant trees, and we have also taken note where colleagues have said it is only they see foreigners coming to plant in their areas. They would want the community to be engaged instead. And with that also they say others were given, but they never planted. Those licenses, we are already cancelling them, and indeed, whoever is able and applied and able to grow the trees, we don't mind. It would be good if the community can get engaged in that. Right Honorable Speaker, we have also had colleagues in Bugoma raising an issue, the land title in the forest reserve. Those are illegally being created, and as you are aware, in the wetland, we are cancelling them. we are cancelling them. But also, it is true, colleagues, that what is agitating, the undertaking we are having right now is not a pleasant one. You can find that we are trying to cancel these titles. We are evicting people from the wetland or from the forest, and we are stepping on people's toes. And some are colleagues in this house, and they are not happy about it. So this is the truth of the matter, that indeed we are going to cancel these titles. The process is on. As the colleagues has also earlier indicated, we need to also to engage them. We need to engage, and actually it's good to engage even if we are going to evict. And as the colleague was saying, we shouldn't just go and bump onto the community and say, leave this place. The process is that we are going to engage even those whom we want to evict. We need to talk, including the manufacturers of plastic. The issue was also raised. Next week, we are also meeting them and engaging them. And I want you colleagues, from this, also let's be firm. You see, if we give double indicators.
Honourable Minister, the subject matter of this debate is crucial. And what I'm going to do is to task the two committees responsible for these issues. There's the Committee on Climate Change and the committee that oversees your sector issues of the environment. Please take this report of the Minister, plus all these other debates that have been taking place. Another motion is coming tomorrow on climate change. Take this all together and generate for us a report where we can make recommendations to government as Parliament. Because a ministerial statement does not generate a decision for this Parliament. We just debate it and there it goes without any decision points. So I am tasking the two committees, please pick the piece you have and run with it. Tomorrow we'll be receiving another motion. I hope we'll limit the debate on on climate change so that we have a more constructive engagement and pass resolutions that are advisory and make suggestions to government, and they see what they can pick from it. That would be a more well coordinated. I can't even put the question because there's no decision required. So we have just been brainstorming on this particular matter. Honourable Minister, you will not be able to proceed now because these matters are coming back on this. And thank you very much, Honourable Minister, for a very good report, and members, thank you for a very good debate.
Most obliged.
And it was because of the nature of the debate that I gave you an additional hour. So, but I'm sure, I know that there are members who wanted to debate but have not been able to. When the matter comes back, the ones who have spoken will not speak until those other ones have spoken. And I have the list, in case you think I am joking. I have my list here. So, honourable members, we'll deal with item 4, finish it, and see how far we can go with the remaining parts of item 3. Item 4 is just laying of papers, then we go to item 3. Clerk?
Item number 4, laying of papers, request for government to borrow euros 96,270,833.84.
Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to lay a proposal to borrow up to euro 90,278,000.
Is it not 96? Is it 90 or 96?
Euro 96,270,833.84 from China Construction Bank to finance the Masindi Biso, Kabale, Kazirafumbi, and Hoa, Nyaihorongo, Nyarusesa, Butole Road upgrading project. I beg to lay, Right Honourable Speaker.
I'm already pitying myself when I have to put the question later on these issues, how I will pronounce those difficult names. Let the record, can you lay on the table the records captured, please?
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the paper and the accompanying facility agreement.
It's supposed to be a motion and the accompanying. Let the records capture that. It stands referred to our Committee on National Economy to expeditiously examine, and in any case, not more than 45 days, and come back to this Parliament and advise us how to proceed with this matter. Next.
Laying of papers, statement in response to the Charter for Fiscal Responsibility for financial year 2021, 2022 to 2025, 2026.
Honorable Mwanga Chivumbi.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the opposition response to the Charter of Fiscal Responsibility for financial year 2021-22, 25-26. I beg to lay.
Let the records capture that. That also, because we received the charter from the government, we've referred it to our Committee on Finance, Committee on Budget. They're already looking at it. So now I also refer this response from the opposition to our Committee on Budget to examine together and come back and advise us on how to proceed with the matters. Can we go back to item 3, clerk?
Item 3.2, statement by Minister on the state of Uganda's readiness to participate in the Dubai Expo 2020.
Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, first of all, I want to thank you to allow me. My name is Francis Mwevesa. My name is Francis Mwevesa, Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. I come here, Honorable Speaker. First of all, I want to thank you for this job you are holding of leading the House. Number 2, this is my maiden speech to the House of Parliament.
Proceed, Honorable Minister. The Honorable Minister is protected.
Colleagues and members of Parliament, my coming here is on the state of Uganda's readiness to participate in the Expo 2020 at Dubai. In this case, I'm asking my Minister of Trade to present our readiness for going to Dubai. Honorable Aliyet Ntabazi.
Is that also your maiden speech?
No.
Okay, you're a veteran, so please. Honorable members, proceed, Honorable.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. I'd like to thank my senior minister for giving me this rare opportunity to present in Parliament in his presence. Right Honorable Speaker, Uganda will join over 190 countries and international organizations to participate in the Expo 2020 Dubai from 1st October 2021 to 31st March 2022 in Dubai, UAE. Right Honorable Speaker, the Republic of Uganda is participating at this Expo on invitation by the organizers, the government of United Arab Emirates, and the Bureau International, the Expo, which is the word in French, I would read it, Bureau International Expo. The theme of the Expo, Mr. Speaker, is connecting minds and creating the future. And this theme is divided into 3 sub-themes. And the first one is mobility, opportunity, and sustainability. Now, Uganda is participating under the sub-theme of opportunity, which we are going to participate on. This Expo has 4 major objectives. Uganda is participating in the 2020 Dubai Expo to promote trade between Uganda and the greater Middle East markets. The second one is to attract investment into projects in the following sectors of infrastructure, mining, health, agriculture, real estate, energy, industrialization, and oil and gas. Mr. Speaker, sir, the other one is to promote Uganda's tourism, more especially Destination Uganda, which has won international recognition as a premium tourist destination in the whole world. Mr. Speaker, sir, the last one is to enhance bilateral relations, especially with the organizers, the government of United Arab Emirates. Mr. Speaker, sir, the second reason is we've made the market analysis. The Middle East, Mr. Speaker and members, had a total import bill of US dollars 891.4 billion in 2020, and Uganda's total exports to the Middle East in 2020 were US dollars 1.9 billion, which translates to 0.23% market share. And our participation in the Expo will increase our presence as well as market share. Mr. Speaker, sir, the priority products that Uganda shall promote at the Expo will include, but not limited to, coffee, black tea, cocoa, fish, and aquaculture products, particularly Nile perch and tilapia. Fruits will include avocado, bananas, mangoes, and pineapples. When you go to vegetables, Mr. Speaker, sir, and spices, we shall have hot pepper, ginger, cardamom. We shall also look at grains, including kidney beans, mung beans, and sesame. We shall have dairy products, especially milk products, and processed food products, particularly dried food, mangoes, pineapples, papaya, and jackfruit. The third issue, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are looking at the modes of Uganda's participation in this Expo. Mr. Speaker,
it's on. Proceed, Honorable Minister, proceed.
Proceed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The mode of Uganda's participation, Mr. Speaker, will be, we have a country pavilion. With the support of the government of United Arab Emirates, Uganda has been offered a 213 square meter, 2-floor pavilion in the Opportunity Thematic District. And this is in line with Expo Management's One Country, One Pavilion policy. The pavilion will have the country's exhibitions on the ground floor, and then offices and conference facilities on the upper floor. Mr. Speaker, sir, we shall have a national day, particularly for Uganda, on 3rd of October 2021, and this is the day the Expo management has dedicated to the promotion of Uganda at the Expo, and it will be held on 3rd, only one day. The day's event will include the official government-to-government economy, and that will take the whole morning, and then additional country promotion programs in the afternoon. The official ceremony will be restricted to only 50 members of the delegation from both countries, the Uganda delegation and the United Arab Emirates, respectively. And of course, on this function, we are expecting His Excellency the President to be present. And of course, we shall observe the SOPs strictly on that day. The additional country promotion programs will include business meetings, road shows, flag processions, cultural performances, and food tasting experiences. The other one will be the Tourism, Trade and Investment Day Forum on 5th of October 2021. Now, the Tourism, Trade and Investment promotional activities will also include a Tourism, Trade and Investment Forum, business to business, and business to government networking events on 5th. Mr. Speaker, sir, this activity it is going to take 6 months. The country marketing programs will take 6 months, and the Expo will run for this period, as we need to seize the opportunity to optimize our participation and visibility at the Expo. Uganda will ensure there are constant engagements between the participating countries and the government of Uganda and our private sector, respectively. The 6 months program will include business delegations, thematic weeks, such as the Tourism Week, which will run from 4th to 10th of October 2021, the single solo country exhibition participation in the Expo thematic event, such as the Livelihood and Agriculture Week in February, then the marketing scope activities and working visits to various businesses across Dubai and other neighboring markets. Mr. Speaker, sir, finally, I want to inform you, Mr. Speaker, and the honorable members, that the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives is leading the coordination of this Expo. And we have coordinated with all the members and almost towards the readiness to move. By the beginning of the next week, we shall be preparing to set off, so that now we go and prepare to welcome our president and the delegations which will be coming from the country. And also to look and prepare the pavilion to see where every activity will be performed. Thank you so much, and may God bless you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. This is an information statement. Honorable members, arrangements are being made by this Parliament for the various committees to have the experience. Maybe not the whole thing, but there will be committee representation to witness this. It will not be on one day, since it's 6 months. We'll phase it out for all the committees to have this experience. We're trying to make that arrangement, and communication will be reaching you very, very soon. This statement does not attract a debate, honorable members. Even if you wanted to, it does not attract a debate. Next item.
Item 3.2, statement by Minister on the update of construction of Kampala International Airport in Hoima.
Honorable Minister of Works. This one might attract a debate. The other one, no. It's also an information paper. Proceed, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Right Honorable Speaker. I'm Fred Viamka, Minister of State for Transport. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members of Parliament, this is a statement issued for the purpose of providing an update on the construction of Kampala Airport and expansion of as was presented to the House by the Honorable Prime Minister and Leader of Government Business in accordance with Rule 28 of the Rules of Procedure. Progress of the construction of Kampala International Airport in Hoima District, that is the Bunyoro Sub-Region. Right Honorable Speaker, the Government of Uganda, through the Ministry of Works and Transport and Uganda Civil Aviation Authority, is implementing a project for the development of Kampala International Airport in Hoima District to facilitate construction of the oil refinery and support the development of oil and gas industry. The project is being implemented under a loan facility from the UK Export Finance and only covers the first phase, which involves the construction of essential facilities to handle international cargo flights, to facilitate construction of oil refinery and support the development of the oil and gas industry. In the medium to long term, the airport is envisaged to undergo further development to function as Uganda's second international airport, an alternative to international airport, servicing both cargo and passenger traffic. Contract details. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to appraise the House on the actors in this project and detail of the contract as follows. Contract SBC Uganda Limited, consultant, STIDI International in joint venture with STUP, consultant PVT Limited in association with BMW Consulting Limited. Contract price, total construction price is 264,777,144 euros. Employer's engineer supervision, it is 4 million euros. Finance administration fees, it is 5,409,940 euros. That is 1.75% of total loan facility. UKEF finance charges, that is 35,230,674.65 euros. That is 13.13% of 85% of total loan facility. Facility agent fees is 495,500 euros. Grand total contract price is 309,259.9 euros. Contract period, date of contract signing is 5th May 2016. Date of commencement is 18th April 2018. Substantial completion is 1,524 days. Date of substantial completion is 19th June 2022. Commissioning 153 days. Operational training 90 days. Total time for completion is 1,767 days. Expected completion date is 17th February 2023. We also have an independent consultant to monitor compliance with environmental and social safeguards. That is Ms. Rina International. Scope of works, Right Honorable Speaker, Kabale International Airport was designed to support the operation of large cargo and passenger aircrafts with the following scope of work. Runway of 3,500 meters in length and 45 meters in width with 2 shoulders of 15 each. Parking apron of 81